Hello class 12. Today I am going to give you some gist of Arid cycle and the Fluvial cycle. Okay, like this is a long question answer. Okay, describe the Arid cycle of erosion. This concept was introduced by W.M. Davis in the 20th century. He explained this concept from the beginning to its end in a vivid description. According to this theory, his explanation was like this. At the first stage, an intermountain basin came into being due to earthquake and earth upheaval or earth movement. A river from the central mass, center upland, and came out or originated and began to flow. It developed a centripetal drainage system. Weathering and the water erosion, hydrological erosion continued for a long time. It reduced the mountain to a base level of continuous for a long time. Okay. It reduced the mountain to a base level of erosion. At first, it developed a number of individual and local base level, and then subsequently base level were developed. So diagram is also given here, intermountain basin. Okay, during the stage of youth, residual mountains were so collected that a series of water partings developed, for which individual base level of erosion initially rose up, and it would minimize the difference of the surrounding mountain and basin. However, these water pastings would ultimately be obliterated. River capture would then be followed, and the rivers would meet one another, and the landscape would attain a stage of maturity. Zugain and Yardang will appear these. Okay. So the next is, and then what happened? Let's see. This is in the next stage is in the old stage. All the highlands and the mountains would reduce to final base level of erosion, and relict portion will stand these as Inselberg. So Inselberg, Yardang are given here. Okay. Further erosion would reduce their heights. Rainfall would be scarce, and the work of running water would be replaced by wind action. Deflection action of the wind would drive out rock, dust, and sands. They would be deposited on the adjoining region. Denuded masses of the rocks and the hill would then be preyed to abrasion. Afterwards, eroded and the denuded deserts would get the appearance of paddy plain. Okay, last ma gaera khali plain tarai jasto matra rahन्छ, जसलाई चाहिँ के भनिएको छ, paddy plain. Professor Davis' concept of arid erosion was not accepted by all the scientists, hence is faced criticism. He made this concept by observing the intermountain desert of the western part of North America. In formulating this concept, he did not consider the great desert lying all over other parts of the world, where the desert situation are not the same at all. The varied type of landscapes and the desert situations are these all over the great desert of Sahara, Kalahari, Arabian, and the Western Australia. Okay. So continuing the different types of different aspects of the Great Desert, African geologist L.C. King put forward a new concept on the cycle of arid landscape known as the cycle of pediplanation. Some of the scientists consider that King's concept is more acceptable than that of the Davis concept. Okay. So the next question is describe normal cycle of erosion. Describe normal cycle of erosion. This is the another cycle or the fluvial cycle. Fluvial भन्नाले रिभर को जुन चाहिँ फर्स्ट स्टेजमा जुन इरोसन हुन्छ त्यसलाई नै ल्यान्डस्केप त्यहाँको ल्यान्डस्केप चाहिँ कसरी बनिएको छ according to Davis. River is the most important of all the geographic agents. Its work is widespread and covers a large area on the earth's surface. In all types of landforms, river plays an important role. The topography developed by the work of a river or running water is known as the fluvial topography. Okay, the cycle of erosion done by the river or the running water is known as fluvial cycle of erosion. Fluvial cycle of erosion. Hence, the cycle of fluvial erosion is known as cycle of normal erosion. The fluvial cycle of erosion runs through different stages of development like human beings. It has a stage of youth, maturity and the old age. But these stages are not related to the age in the years. These stages have particular characteristics of development as stated in the following. Youth stage. As soon as the region is uplifted above the sea level, a drainage system develops and the strata working on it. At this stage, the river system slows the characteristics feature of the youth stage. These are the land gets very irregular shape and rugged topography. Secondly, the land remains very much steep. And thirdly, the agents of erosion and weathering work with their full strength. They developed narrow, steep-sided valleys, deep gorge, canyon, interlocking spur, waterfalls, and so on. And in matured stage, this stage is characterized by maximum irregular relief and maximum erosion to form a graded profile. Side cutting, lateral erosion is more important than down cutting or vertical erosion. In this stage, river perform the work of both erosion and deposition. A large number of tributaries join the main stream. River begins to form meanders. The stages of maturity is marked by the following features: meander, alluvial fans, river terraces, levees, oxbow lake, and all. And floodplain. The river gets gentle sloping. The upper and the middle Ganga plains shows the features of the stages of maturity. Okay. Then comes the old stage. In this stage, the river attained base level of erosion and flows over a level plain. The gradient is gentle, the velocity is low, and energy of river flow is maximum. Now, deposition became the most important work of the river. The whole region is formed by a low, featureless plain with some monadnocks. This is the final stage of cycle of erosion. The most outstanding feature of this stage are delta with these tributaries. These features are found on the old stages of a river like in the deltaic region of the lower Ganga plain. So the old stages is shown here in the diagram also. So I hope you understand this two cycle of erosion. It is very, very important. So you go through it, okay?